Good morning, everyone. It's me again, Jay, back to you once again with another video. And thank you so much for viewing in the channel. And today we're going to do a different segment. It's all about coffee talks, but we don't have coffee. But I have my best friend here, and would like to introduce you all to Rob. And Rob, tell us something about yourself before we start, so that our friends may know who you are.
Oof, gosh, hard questions off the bat. I'm Rob. I live here in America, and yeah, my girlfriend is Filipino.
That technically is what our video is going to be all about today. So for those of you Filipinos who have not yet been to the US, I hope this video helps you be aware or somewhat have knowledge when coming here on what an American, legit buff American might think of us Filipinos, you know, because we're going to be in a foreign land with different people, different traditions, and different personalities. So I have prepared certain questions for our friend here, Rob, to answer honestly and share his opinions on the Philippine culture. All right? So are you ready to answer those questions?
I hope so.
Do you have any anxiety going on?
Oh yeah.
Are you pressured to answer the questions?
I'll be fine.
All right, so as you all know that we just moved here in the US, and we're so happy to met this couple. Her partner is not here, but with Chris. So we were so happy to get to know this couple because they helped us feel welcome in the US. And I have gotten to know more about them, and my friend here is like my other brother from a different country. So we were thinking of starting this video so that other Filipinos might have an insight on what Americans think of us and their traditions, our tradition, the clash of those things. So to start off, my first question to you is, before anything else, before you've met the love of your life, have you heard of the name or a place, the island of the Philippines?
So yeah, I had heard of the Philippines, but I would not have been able to place it on a map. And
So,
yeah,
all right. But when you think of the Philippines for the first time, what comes to your mind first? Like the people there, what is it? Like, what is your general like idea on the Philippines?
I really honestly didn't know much about it. I knew it was a more tropical place.
Oh, good. Oh, that's what we want you to think, because it's really a tropical place. And thank you for being honest that you don't know that much of the Philippines. Mm-hmm. But man, we know about America.
Yeah.
Philippines has been crazy about Americans, crazy about coming to the US, and 80 or 70% of how I am now is being influenced by you guys. Mm-hmm. Shows, movies, all that stuff, and this is really a dream come true for us. And knowing you, I'm happy that you know about the country and the island of Philippines. Not everybody knows that place, but you knew. My second question is, since you've already been immersed in the Philippine culture, how do you spot a Filipino
Oh gosh.
from a mile away?
Oh gosh, I don't know if no, it's definitely still a little tricky, but I can better differentiate between certain regions better now. Gosh, it's
okay to be honest, okay? You can tell me 100% to be honest, all right? Go for it, man.
Okay, so as a Filipino told me,
all right.
You can spot a Filipino from their nose.
Exactly. See, don't feel bad, Filipinos, because that's what we are. That's who we are. Be proud of it, you know, from the nose, right?
Yeah.
So what's the shape of our nose? Like, what do you think is the common shape of Filipino nose?
Just I'd say maybe a little flatter and wider than other Asian nationalities.
Okay, now this is an important question. Does that make us look less pretty or handsome?
No.
See, guys, it's coming from my friend here, Rob. You know, that's just how we think things. No, if you have that certain type of nose, don't worry about it, because it's not going to be the nose that's really like differentiates you from other people. It's your personality, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen my nose; it's like a tomato or something. But I'm not troubled by it. I'm not gonna fix this, for sure, because I'm happy with what I have.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that you said the nose, because that is the number one answer that I want you to answer, because that's how to spot a Filipino, through their nose, and maybe through their skin, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yes. And what's the color of a skin? Do you think it's like white or yellowish?
It definitely varies. I'd say it's definitely more of a tanner color. Definitely, obviously, a little deeper tan than
Yeah, we're not racist here, guys. We're just saying the facts, because naturally Filipinos are brown because it's a tropical country, right?
Yep.
And which leads me to my third question is, do you think Filipinos are friendly?
Oh, yeah. I'd say that's one thing that's been really huge about the Filipino community that I've met here. Everybody's so welcoming. Like, even though I'm not speaking Tagalog, I still feel part of the family.
Wow, that is awesome. You've already been in the Filipino culture, and you experience everything that there is to be a Filipino so far. And I'm happy that you're telling us that we're very much friendly.
Yeah.
But switching it, if you ask me if Americans are friendly, I would say 50-50 here, because some Americans don't want to be bothered, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Especially in the U.S., it's very regional too. I'd say in the South in the U.S., especially more so the Southeast, Americans are going to be a lot friendlier. But if you go to maybe the Northeast, there, especially areas
Northeast,
like
somewhere
New
near
York,
us, right?
New York, Boston, Washington, New Jersey, they're going to be a lot more
Mossier, or tactless,
not
straightforward.
as personal,
straightforward, right?
And
very blunt.
Yeah, and they won't say hi to you as you pass them on the streets. Whereas here, you'll get a hey, or if there's somebody driving by, you'll just wave to them, just because that's what you do in the South. Whereas up there, somebody could bump into you and they'd yell at you.
That's totally what I experienced here. Come in, because in this area, in our place, the people here are so friendly that sometimes you would question yourself: should I say hi? Should I say no? But they would do it first to you. Like, they would wave hi to you even if they don't know you. They just move out of their way and greet you. And that's something that, like, for me, that I want to be in a place where people want to be greeted.
Yep.
But personally, for you, do you want to be greeted? Like,
I do.
Street? Even if you don't know the guy?
Yep, I do. And that's one reason I love it in the South. I grew up in the Northeast, and so coming down here to the South, it was definitely kind of a culture shock. And I know it's the same country, but the U.S. is obviously very large.
Exactly. And I heard that you guys have like 5 million miles of road that you guys can travel to.
Yeah, something crazy like
That's
that.
crazy. And what do you want to say to those Filipinos who are shy? Because I know 100%, maybe 70% of Filipinos are shy. Like, they don't want to do the first interaction. So what's your advice for them?
I'd say, especially if you're coming to the U.S., start with finding other Filipinos. That's something that you can really bond over, and especially if they're from a similar province and you both speak the same dialect, that's something to bond over. But even if you don't speak the same dialect, it's still something that you have in common, and you can start there, and from there expand that community and then branch out.
And how about like interacting with Americans, like Native American, like natural Americans here? Like, should the Filipinos like greet them first when they walk by the street or in the grocery store? Should they courteously say hi, hello to, even if they don't know each other?
I'd say it doesn't hurt, especially in this part of the country. I'd say it I don't want to say it's expected, but it's something that
it's common courtesy.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you don't know the person, right?
Yep.
So it's really crazy, because here I experienced that. Even if I don't know the person, they would wave and say hi to you and give you that like killer smile, or like the dental smile.
Yeah.
And for me, I love it because I feel welcome. And they're very kind here in a sense. And most of the Filipinos back in the Philippines are tend to think that it's gonna be very difficult to interact with them.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be doing the first move because they're in a foreign country.
Yeah.
So your advice is do it, right?
Yeah.
There's no harm.
It doesn't hurt, and the worst that could happen is somebody just shrugs you off, and then you just go about your day.
And my next question is all about communication.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the reasons why Filipinos tend to not communicate or converse with the people here is they're very particular with the grammar and the pronunciation. So my question is, you would know that this person is a Filipino because of how they pronounce, how they
Yes.
talk, the sentences that they use. So what is more important to you? Is it the grammar or the pronunciation?
Oof. It's funny because I'd say that, ironically, a bunch of the Filipinos I know,
Be honest, man.
they actually have better both grammar and in some cases pronunciation than a lot of Americans I know.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice, especially in various parts of the country, that different Americans will pronounce things differently, and a lot aren't actually correct. But
I'm glad that you said that, man. I'm glad because sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm too excited. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Go ahead.
I'd say, but all things considered, I wouldn't say there's an issue with either. I'd say the one thing I've noticed, especially, and you actually did it earlier, Filipinos often mix up he and she, because from my understanding, there isn't a masculine-feminine version in Tagalog, right? So I'd say that's the thing I noticed the most.
He and she pronouns.
Yeah.
I got it. You heard me that used like interchangeably when I called with
and when you introduced me, you said she.
Yeah.
So.
Here?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my god! I'm gonna blip it out. So sorry, guys.
So yeah, I'd say that's the thing I noticed the most. But other than that, pronunciation. It's kind of funny. We talk about it quite a bit, especially with the medical field being so prevalent to Filipinos and nursing and all that. But in the U.S., Americans, when it comes to medicines, tend to pronounce every single syllable, and it sounds exactly like it is, whereas other words, we pronounce it very differently than Filipinos.
Like there's some ad-lib into it, like some words are like shortened.
Yeah.
Like coming, you say coming.
Well, yeah, not only that, but what are like a medicine, for instance, slash a not vitamin, but a mineral. Potassium is how we would pronounce it, whereas in the Philippines,
Potassium.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
oh my
stuff
God.
like that.
You have to give us credit, man, because English is not our first dialect, and it's not like all of us can almost all of us in the Philippines understand English.
Yeah.
Like certain percentage can speak English in a nice way.
Yeah.
But everyone there can understand English.
Yeah.
100%. Wherever you go to the Philippines, they would understand you when you talk to them.
Yeah.
And knowing that English is not our first language.
Yeah.
So this is something that we've learned along the years in school and stuff.
Yeah.
So the question now comes back to you. Which one is more important? Grammar or pronunciation?
It's hard to give a definite answer because I really I don't really have issues with either as long as the point is conveyed. You know, there might be sometimes that I'll ask for something to be repeated, so I guess I'll go with pronunciation.
Pronunciation.
It might like if somebody were speaking quickly to me and they were to say potassium, at first I might have to think about it for a second. But yeah, stuff like that. And the other thing I noticed too is things that there's a lot of words that are already singular and plural in their current form where Filipinos will add an S to, but that doesn't need it.
Exactly.
So like deer, for instance, like the animal deer, you wouldn't say deers.
Exactly.
Deer,
it's already plural.
Yeah, exactly.
Like water. Water's water.
Like there's a deer, and look at all the deer over there. So it's double duty.
True.
So.
Like, and understand, like for me, if you ask me, pronunciation also would be more important than grammar because grammar you can fix it in your mind, like you can try to adjust it. But how they pronounce it can sometimes change the meaning of the sentence and how you perceive it.
Yeah.
So it's better, like even if we have a term in the Philippines like nosebleed. Most of us would tend to use it when we can't speak in English, we can't communicate. Oh my God, I'm having a nosebleed. You know, it means they can't make up a sentence or try to converse with you in your own pace. So when you hear nosebleed, and they're talking to you, that's the meaning, because they use nosebleed. Oh my God, too much English. Oh, nosebleed. So for me also, when I first came here, it was very hard in a sense of understanding your dialect, the speed of which you talk. Because when you're in school, you have a pace that you follow.
Yeah.
But here, there's no pace. It's according to the person that you talk to.
Yeah.
And then the further down you go, the weirder it is for me to understand their language. Like if they're from like the southern part, the Texas or something, they have a certain swag.
Yeah.
And then for me, it's just very important to catch that certain word, the sentence. Oh, he meant that. All right, this is the meaning. So it's very hard. You should have good listening skills. Yeah. And if you don't understand the whole grammar, don't be shy to ask, is there any way you can say it again in a different way? Because most Filipinos tend to see this as, some difficult part of their adjustment.
Yeah.
Because they're very good in the Philippines, they're very successful, but when they come here, they have trouble expressing themselves.
Yeah. I've seen that also when we video chat Filipinos that are still in the Philippines, that they aren't as comfortable. Certain Filipinos that we'll talk to aren't as comfortable with English.
Exactly. Because we don't have that much exposure, especially talking to legit American. It's different. Because then you have to move up your game.
Yeah.
And the good thing about Filipinos is we watch a lot of English movies, and we tend to grab those information. And for some who have difficulty understanding, we have like you can just go through it. Maybe your ears will be like version 2 or get upgraded, but if you don't understand, don't answer. My God, it's better to rephrase the question.
Sure.
Right?
Regardless, I don't think anybody's going to really judge you too much, even if you interpreted it a different way.
Oh my God, I like where this is heading, because Rob said something that triggered my ear as a Filipino. They have this ear that when you make a grammar mistake, oh my God, I made a mistake, oh my God. And they would curse you and burn you to the stake if you make that grammar mistake. But seeing you here and hearing it from you, it's nice to know that you guys are understanding and you are not that strict and you're not that discriminating us when we talk or when we say different things. If he's fine with it, then why not us? Oh my goodness.
I think one other thing to keep in mind is the U.S. is a very, very diverse place. There's people from all over the world, all different nationalities, all different cultures, all different ethnic backgrounds. And so I think that might in part play into it too, because we're just so used to seeing so many different people in our everyday, whereas maybe in the Philippines it's going to be mostly Filipinos sprinkled with a few
Caucasian men.
Exactly.
Middle Easterners.
Exactly. But whereas here, like on the street alone, we were the first white and Asian people to move in.
Whoa.
And so it took a while before more white or Asian people moved in, And then, so that just kind of goes to show how diverse everything is,
And we're so lucky to say that in our place, in our state here in the U.S., they don't care about that stuff. They don't care what your color is. They don't care where you came from, as long as you're legal. I was just making a joke. But in here, man, they don't really care what you are. No. As long as you respect the rules, you follow the rules, you respect them.
Yeah, treat others the way you'd like to be treated.
Yeah, this is one thing I want you guys, I want my friends in the Philippines know that when you come to a foreign state, you are not the boss. You should follow their constitution, their law, and understandable to be afraid, because that's not your place and you are the one adjusting. It's not going to be the U.S. is going to adjust to you. You need to adjust to the lifestyle and the flow of life here in the U.S. And we're so thankful that this place accepted us Filipinos all over the state.
Yeah.
Now there's so many Filipinos in our city here, in our state, that I'm a bit worried it's going to be overrun with Filipinos. Because part of the reason why we chose this place is because we don't have a lot of Filipinos yet. So we're still growing. Unlike other states that there's too many already Filipinos ever. Like it's like some already occupied the whole street, whole area, whole neighborhood. Oh my goodness. And I'm happy about everything so far.
Yeah.
And now my next question is gonna be like, what? Okay, you've met a Filipino already, and what is a certain skill that most Filipinos have?
Oh. Well,
Like automatically, oh my god, you are definitely a true blue Filipino.
I'd say that's easy. And this kind of relates to an earlier question of just talking about friendliness and whatnot. It's definitely cooking. No matter what,
really?
we could show up to a Filipino's house unannounced and they're going to offer us food. And I have never had a bad Filipino dish yet.
Oh my god, that's so nice to know and hear from you that you are giving praise to our Filipino cuisine. And mind you guys, this friend of mine really loves our Filipino cuisine. And I'm so happy to cook for him, to share him our culture and stuff. And he really likes Filipino food. He has like Filipino bone or part of him is Filipino. And I'm so happy that you accepted us because, back in UAE when we were there, like the natives there are very particular on how we cook.
Sure.
And most of them don't really accept some of the dishes that we make. But I understand because that's their preference. But in here, my God, most of them really like Filipino cuisine.
Yeah.
Especially the...
Oh, I like everything, but for breakfast, tocino, longanisa, I really like caldereta, sinigang, Milaga.
Oh!
There's a ton that I like. So.
And I'm happy.
Beefsteak.
And oh my goodness, thank you for answering so bluntly and truthfully to that one. And I'm happy that you really like our cuisine. And I also embraced the American dishes, but in moderation.
Yeah.
American cuisine is so heavy that even for me, I can't finish the plate.
Yeah.
Because everything is bigger in
the U.S.
And everything is expensive in the Philippines. That's why our portions are so small, man. And here, everything is supersized.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I was also shocked coming here is the portion sizes.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
Like our plate is this big, but coming here, like the normal plate is this big.
Yeah.
And I wonder how you survive that. My God, if I lived here throughout my life, I would be so big that I can't fit in. But the food here is really like mix of everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you would think that burger, steak, that's all American, but there are other dishes also that is American. I really like the mashed potatoes here. It's something that we don't usually do in the Philippines, but it's something that I like to try and like to have, and also without rice because we're on a diet. But that is something that I look forward to in in the American cuisine.
Yeah.
The diversity.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that's why maybe you get bigger faster here in the US because of the portion sizes and of the taste, man.
And the variety. I'd say like we mentioned earlier, with the US being so diverse, there's every kind of food you can imagine, and it's not just what you'd think of as traditional American foods. There's also Italian, there's Mexican, there's Chinese food, there's Filipino food, there's everything you can think of, and it's just endless.
So don't worry, guys. So if you're from the Philippines coming here to the US, you have plenty of new food to taste.
Yes.
And no need to worry, you will like it because, I don't know, like some of our blends are almost the same.
Yeah.
And our palate seems to like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So before we end our short video, so I would like to ask you, what's your message to those Filipino families who are coming here to the US and their state of mind, their worry and all that stuff? So what's your message to them?
I'd say one of the first things that comes to mind is still don't ever lose who you are. Still embrace your culture and everything about it. We still have our Christmas decorations up after Christmas.
This is so cool. We also have our Christmas tree. I know.
I am now aware of starting to decorate for Christmas in the burr months. In the US, you wouldn't start till usually November, December.
See, very nice.
Stuff like that.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, just embrace all that and don't lose Tagalog or whatever your dialect may be. And just everything about it, don't lose that. Otherwise, just come to the US with an open mind and lean on each other. it's evident that everything isn't perfect in the system when coming here. So lean on each other for that help. It's got to be a challenge to get a car and your license, because you need a car to get your license, but you need your license to get a car. So it's kind of a catch-22, and being able to lean on, especially those other Filipinos at first before you know other people, it's going to be a huge help. And yeah, just be there for each other.
Yeah, that's one good thing about Filipinos, because when we travel, we usually bring all our family members.
Yeah.
So the support system is there.
Yeah.
And that's about it, guys. So thank you so much for still sticking with us. If you reached this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. We're gonna see you again, guys, in our next video. Bye! Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.